Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of us going through our summer theme, Made New. And again, we're going to share some thoughts on some verses that have to do with worrying and being anxious and having an anxious heart. And obviously that's pretty relevant right now because lots of things that are happening in our world can cause a lot of anxiety, and whether they be small things or big things. But we want to share some thoughts on what some verses that mean to us about how we can trust Jesus more and how we can bring our cares and our worries to him and know that he's going to take care of us, and know that whatever's going on in your life, that he's going to be listening and he's going to be there. And so verses that I want to read are from Matthew chapter 11. And Jesus is talking to the crowds here, and he says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." You know, a lot of times when people read the Bible or they just think about church or religion, they see a lot of rules, they see a lot of restrictions, and it can kind of be overwhelming. It seems it's kind of heavy. It's a lot of stuff to take in. But what Jesus is saying here is that he's trying to simplify things. He's trying to say, hey, if you follow me, yeah, there's things you're going to have to do, but you're not going to have to do it alone. That I'm going to help you. Other people are going to help you. But he's not giving us something that is burdensome. He's not giving us more anxiety. He's not trying to weigh us down with more things to think about. It really is simple as just follow my example, live like Jesus. And when we do that and we put our trust in him, then we don't worry about the things that are going on in our lives as much. You know, we're going to worry about things, but we just need to learn to make the conscious effort, conscious choice each and every day to trust Jesus. And so those are some verses that came to mind. Everyone else is going to share some verses that come to their minds as well when we're talking about what it means to not worry and to trust Jesus.
Okay, so the verse I had was Romans 8, 5-6. Those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on what the flesh desires. But those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. The mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. And I really like the end of the verse where it says the mind is governed by flesh is death, because whenever we do see things around the earth, people are going to fail us and plans are going to fail us. But if we do set our mind on God and what is above, the Spirit, it even tells us, is going to give us life and peace. And hopefully that means we won't have to worry about things because we know God has a plan and he knows what he's doing. And I don't know, that's why I really like that verse about worrying.
Right. My verse is Proverbs 12:25. It's a short one, but I really like it. It says, "Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up." So I like this because if we focus and we turn our focus to Jesus instead of worrying about anxiety and let him take some of our burdens away, and instead lets us focus on other people instead of ourselves and help them in their daily life instead of just worrying about ourselves. That's what I like about it.
My verse is Colossians 3, verses 1-2, and it's, "Since then you have been raised with Christ, set your heart on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things." I think this verse is really important because it's telling us that God has things planned for us after this life that are far greater than anything we could think of that's going on right now in our daily lives. And I think that's really important for kids, especially kids in high school and kids in middle school, like things like going into college and going into high school and being on a sports team and winning games and everything like that. All of those things seem really important right now, being where we are and being on this earth, but when we get into heaven and what God has planned for us, none of these things are going to matter.
Okay, the verse I have is Philippians 4, verses 6 through 7, and it reads, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." I really like this verse because it's a good reminder that God gives us peace that passes understanding. We hear that in church songs and sometimes, but it's really an awesome thing to think about and a much greater thing to feel and to have God, just to know that God has your back that way and that you don't need to worry about things. And I feel like sometimes I'll read this verse, I'm like, oh, God's gonna grant all my requests, but it's not so much as God's Santa as much as he's gonna give me what I need. He's gonna give me peace and joy in situations that I need that, and so that I don't need to worry about food or clothes or physical things, because that's obviously all taken care of, but also my emotional health, just I guess having peace, not so much emotional health. That's cool too. But yeah.
Great. We do worry about a lot of different things, whether it be, our plans for the future, whether you're going into high school or college, or maybe you're going to get a job. Maybe it is a sports team. Maybe it's, something a little more serious, like, a relationship, or just some big questions that we have to answer in life. And whatever it is, Jesus wants us to bring it to him. All of these verses just center back on that when we bring our requests to Jesus, when we set our mind on him, then he's going to help us, and he's going to alleviate, he's going to take away and help us with our worry, with our anxiety. And again, it's not a one and done thing. We have to remind ourselves to do it each and every day, because each and every day has things that we worry about, or have the opportunity to worry about. And so we need to remind ourselves to think about that. Jesus wants us to bring our request to him because he wants to help us. And, you could say it this way, that if we spend our time worrying, it's basically saying, hey, Jesus, I know that you say you be there for me, but I'm not sure I necessarily believe you. I know that you're enough for me, but I'm not always sure that you are. And you may have thought something like that in your past or right now. You may not feel like Jesus is actually helping you, but we just want to remind you that he is, and that he doesn't always give us what we want. He doesn't always take away things that are difficult in life, but he is always going to be there through difficult situations. He's always going to be there to provide. And that's kind of what we want to end with, is that God cares about every single one of his creation, all of his children, every single one of us. And because he cares about us, he is going to provide for us. And that looks differently for each person, because each person has different needs and things that are going on in their life. But what we can do is just learn to trust Jesus more and more, and know that he is going to help us through whatever situation that we're going through. So we hope that is helpful to you. We love you guys, and we'll catch you guys next time.